Welcome back to Power On Weekly for the week of April 26th through May 1st.
It's gonna be May.
It's already May.
Oh.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Irving Legend. I am your host. Joining me this week is your co-host,
Aly Mayhem.
Aly Mayhem. Apologies for no episode last week. I went to do a bachelor party with my cousin.
Busy.
Busy stuff. Anyways, this week we are going to talk about two of our beloved franchises. As you can tell from the background, we're going to talk about Pokemon Snap, but we're also going to talk about Halo Infinite. So let's just jump right into it. Pokemon Snap has finally been released. It's real. We have it here. April 30th, developed by Bandai Namco and obviously published by the Nintendo company. Pokemon Snap is the new Pokemon Snap, is finally here.
Not old.
Yeah.
New
Pokemon Snap.
What happens if they do another new version, though? Is it the new?
New or newest Pokemon Snap?
Newest.
Newest, yeah.
Yeah, where does it go from here? I don't know. I feel like they kind of just...
That they plateaued.
Yeah, well, not plateaued, but like I said, where do you go from here?
It's gotten pretty favorable reviews. IGN and GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 10. Metacritic has 80 out of 100. A lot of eights that I've been seeing. So pretty good game. User review though on Metacritic is a 4.2.
Out of
I'm assuming 10.
Out of 10, or is it out of 5?
So it's out of 10. It was bad. Like it's like in the red.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, it's 4 out of 10.
I think that's a little harsh.
I agree. A lot of the users on there that I read tend to say that it's not worth $60. It gets repetitive and not a lot of content. Someone literally said it's the same game. It's like, but it's not though. It really isn't.
Here's the thing. A 4.2 if it's out of 10 is definitely way too harsh. But I'm also not surprised if people didn't play the original or didn't quite understand what they were buying.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a very niche style of game.
Yeah.
Like it's very unique. It's very niche. It is. I could see it. It's a love it or hate it. Like no middle ground on this, because I could totally see how someone would think it's repetitive and boring if you're not into exploration and you're not into grinding and perfecting things or discovery.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what this whole game is about. It's about going through the course again, discovering new things, figuring out how to activate new things. It's kind of puzzly in a way.
Yeah.
But then also like, yeah, you're going to keep doing the same level over and over again, trying to perfect that shot. You're literally going to be getting the same shot 20 million times. I remember playing Pokemon Snap, the original, and just I would like play the same level 20 times in one night trying to get that perfect shot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be fair, I can totally see why people wouldn't like it if they're not into this style of game.
Yeah.
But I think that's a little harsh. I think that's a lot of people who never played Pokemon Snap and didn't really understand mechanics, maybe.
I think it also goes back into the $60.
Oh, no. 100%.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because I'll be honest, I played a little bit of Pokemon Snap, but only because I didn't own it. When I would go over to my friend's house or somebody who had it, like I'd play it. I think I rented it like once or something, but it was like a weekend. And then we have it upstairs, but we haven't the last time we played it was, I think our bachelor, ironically, bachelor and bachelorette party. We all met up at the end of the night and we hung out here. And then when everybody left,
played that, and we played Stadium. We played the mini games in Stadium.
Yeah, so that was like the last, but we were also like pretty wasted by that point.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
So I guess my question for you is, did the game play each course play the exact same? There wasn't like any new things that came up, because that's something on this game that I've noticed pretty quickly. Is that you go in, you do it the first time, but then the second time, like other things happen, and like Grookey and Pichu in like the first like opening thing, they're like real scared of you at the beginning, and then they're like, oh hey, like what's up, and like as you progress, it changes a little bit. So in the original, it was just everything was exactly the same.
Original courses were 100% the same.
Oh,
unless
okay.
you did something to trigger things, but even then, Like if you threw a ball to activate an action from a Pokemon, it was always the same action.
Got it.
And they always appeared at the same place. So the whole game used to just be about timing and, like I said, and problem solving, figuring out how to get this Pokemon to do something interesting. But that interesting thing was the same thing every single time.
Got it.
So yeah, no, it's not a completely new concept, but it's nice because it's taking what did get repetitive about the last game and it's giving it some interesting footing.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes it interesting because it's like, does it happen so fast that you're actually missing out on stuff in your first go? Because the other thing is things change almost every single time you play.
Yeah.
And we haven't played too much of it. We've only played like an hour or two so far.
Yeah, less than 2 hours.
But it's like every time there's something new. So I'm sure at some point it's going to hit like a peak.
Yeah.
But it also, like I said, it also makes me wonder like what photos I could have. I guess they go from like less boring to like more interesting. But like, yeah, like the progression seems to be happening pretty fast as well.
Yeah, yes and no. I feel like the courses, they change every time you go in, and I feel like that's a little overwhelming, but I'm also glad that they didn't do the scan and the Lumina orb and the apple like all at the same time, because then you've got like 3 different things juggling between all these different actions in order to like do it. For those who haven't seen, for some reason, well, we should be putting gameplay, but yeah, it's a first person Unreal shooter. It's technically a shooter where you just go around and you take photos of Pokemon. And like we said, like every time you go through a level, it changes almost every time. More Pokemon will do things. Things will pop
to be
up
clear, though, the changes aren't like huge. It'll be
Yeah.
like an additional Pokemon appearing, or the Pokemon going further into the course, or doing an action that's a little different from their last one. So it isn't like a completely different experience every time you're in the level.
Yeah, it's not like a procedurally generated, like, oh, this one will pop up here. Like there's a set Pokemon in there, but it changes like a few variations, like I'm trying to say. But yeah, overall, what do you think at very early first impressions? Again, we've only played like less than 2 hours. So far, how are you feeling about this?
It's hard for me to call it a value, like where everyone's saying it isn't worth the $60. And honestly, I know I've said in past podcasts that was my biggest concern with this game.
Yeah.
Is based off of the original, a $60 price tag is a lot to ask. Like, yes, there's a lot of really interesting things going on, but as people said, it can get repetitive. And that's even from me who, like, I love it. Like, and I can already see how it would get repetitive. And I don't know how many courses there are, because the thing is, I'm wanting to go in blind.
Yeah.
So I can't really be like, oh, well, it only has like 8 courses. That's blah 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 blah. It's a little hard to talk on the value, but I still am concerned that I'm going to agree with those people who say $60 is too much. And it goes into a conversation we had the last time I brought up this game being $60, where I think Nintendo can overvalue their games just because it's Nintendo and it's Pokemon. And so like that's the thing. Like I can't argue that this game is probably not worth $60. The issue though is it's never going to go on sale.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find it on like Mercari or something.
Just like we did.
That's what I did with a Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to spend $60 on that game. Found it for about $40. But yeah, I mean, you know, the issue is these things never go on sale. But if we're not just talking about the dollar value and everything, already I see my value in it as someone who is very nostalgic for the franchise. I cried watching IGN's review, and then I was like, I'm good. I'm not going to cry. And then I turned on the console and I started crying again. Like, you know, like, I don't know. I could be a very biased person.
Yeah.
But but the thing is I'm also not so biased. I can't disagree. Like, no, I can agree with that. Those are very valid points. And I can already see that being an issue here. And those were my concerns going in to a new Pokemon Snap game.
For sure.
Repetition and price.
Yeah.
But if you're someone who loved Pokemon Snap, or you just kind of want to be immersed in the Pokemon world in a completely different way than you have ever been.
Yeah.
This game is great. It looked good back in the day, but this looks amazing. Like, I think the characters look amazing in 3D. The Pokemon look amazing. The world is beautiful. Like, it's hard to knock the feeling you get going through it and the excitement you get when you see them. And like me and you were like kids yesterday, like
We really
looking
were.
at going through the thing at the first time, and we're so excited. And then it's like, okay, we're gonna play the daytime first one again. And we go through and we're like, oh my god, now there's this happening. And like it brings out like this childlike joy that I don't think any other Pokemon game can really do. So, I mean, overall, my first impressions are, I love it. Like,
Yeah.
I still worry about value. I do worry about repetitiveness, but it's everything I could have wanted. I do have a feeling though that once I finish it, I'm gonna wish there were more courses, and I'm gonna think it's not long enough. But yeah, I mean, I just look at it, and the Pokemon, and it's I don't know. It takes me back to being 10.
Yeah. Aly is currently 2 for 3 as far as video games that need to be you wanted remade. Spyro, the entire Spyro collection, by the way, the first
all
three
three of
games.
them.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap.
And all I wanted was the first one, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was a trilogy though. Woo!
Yeah, Pokemon Snap. It wasn't a remake, but it is a continuation.
Yeah, I didn't need like a literal remake. I wanted a remake or a new version. Yeah, just something new in that franchise.
20 years. That's insane that it's taken this long. I mean, we talked about it even back when the Wii
It's
U
like
was a
22.
thing.
I said for the Wii U, it would, because that's actually what inspired me to even want a new Pokemon Snap, because the Wii U was so underutilized. And I just remember we were talking about how like, because I tried to download Pokemon Snap the first time I went to Japan on a tablet.
Okay.
And it just, the controls didn't work right. Like I couldn't get the actual game to work, but it was on my tablet. I was gonna play it on the plane. But anyways, I realized though, like between the tablet and the Wii U, that like it's something you hold and it had the motion. So I always thought like that would be cool. Like that was your camera. That would have been so cool. Yeah. Like I'm so glad it's on here. But like just like imagine, and I know that this has motion control, so I'm interested in seeing if that is what it is. Like if you can connect it and then you move.
Yeah, you can. That's how it works. So it's basically that.
What the heck? So it's exactly what.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Well, then I've been playing it wrong the whole time. Imagine how much better I'd be doing not with that. Then I can make it literally feel like a freaking camera, and that's what I thought was so cool with the idea of the Wii U, was like, because then you're really moving it. You have the controls in the right spot. Like, if you're snapping here, it's almost like you're using a real camera. Yeah. Okay, well, now I wish I had done that before this podcast.
Oh, so sorry.
It's okay.
That's why you can also do it this way, too. You can use the gyros with
without it.
That's what the gyro thing is. Well, we'll have to.
well, that might have, that would have been an interesting conversation. That probably would have even, like, made me more giddy. Because, like I said, that was my initial idea when I thought about a new Pokemon Snap on the Wii. Because, like I said, it was like, you have, like, your literal camera right there. I just thought that would be like brilliant. So yeah, so like knowing that that's a potential. Okay, well, yeah. See, now I'm even more excited because that might make it easier too. Because I've kind of been struggling with the controls a little bit, and we do have it set up in a way that it feels. For anyone who doesn't know, we are professional photographers.
Yeah,
and we have it set up to feel almost like how we would have our cameras set up.
Yeah. So basically, like when you have a camera, which probably could grab that and then show you from here, but you have your right trigger, right, is for taking the photo. There's most cameras like DSLRs have a little thumb pad too, where you can actually choose like the focal point. So then you can reposition and stuff like that, have like, rule of thirds and all this other stuff. So that's what we use for this right stick. Left one is just to like move around. And then all the other buttons are just basically for like throwing a thing or doing a scan and stuff like that. Like when originally what the basic controllers are is like A is to take a photo,
no X or something,
or something, and like So
imagine it. Yeah, so if we try it with the gyro, then you have that takes away. Yeah, because that's what's throwing me off is moving the character with the thumb pad. Yeah. So if you can actually move it, it would genuinely feel like you're actually shooting with a camera, and seeing that's so exciting to me as a photographer. Yeah. Like, because it already has like a good feel where it almost feels like when I click that button to take that photo, it reminds me of the feeling taking photos, which I haven't done in so long because of the panini.
Yeah, the panini.
So with like motion control, okay, so that gets me even more excited, and that's something we have not tried because we have not had a lot of time to play with it.
Yeah, we haven't. Just a few things. Yeah. I think personally, like you said, like and I think this quote from IGN's review that Rebecca did is perfect. Is a perfect embodiment of how we feel. The reviewer said, it's a good thing that no one had a camera on me during my first playthrough of Pokemon Snap, because I probably looked and sounded like a total dingus. Without fail, each time I played a new course, a Pokemon would appear out of nowhere, or do something cute, or react to something I did, in a surprising way. And this is not an exaggeration, would sit up on the couch, point at the screen, and go, ooh, in delight. Like, that's pretty much what we were doing yesterday. Yeah, we were that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where it's like
See, I think for me the perfect explanation of how I felt was that meme I tagged you in today. Yeah. That was that guy crying with a camera in his hands. It's like me playing the new Pokemon Snap, and then there's just a Pikachu with a Capri Sun that's like this Pikachu just trying to eat. But yes, no, I completely yeah, I mean, I like I said, if you're into it, these are the reactions you're gonna have. You're gonna have the oohs, the ahs, the literal squeals. Like you're gonna be a kid again.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon has always been one of our most favorite, beloved franchises. So like you said, like seeing Pokemon running around and like doing like really cute things and like doing like natural things that a Pokemon would do is really, really, really cool, and it really like. It just makes you feel good. And it just, like you said, it transports you into being a kid again. There are some new features with this Pokemon Snap. There's a resnap feature, which we were playing around with it a few minutes ago, and I thought it was a little underwhelming, but then it's also kind of
no,
good.
It's underwhelming.
Yeah.
But
it's because we're photographers.
Well, yes,
we expect a little bit more.
But but I still think it's underwhelming. But I also think it's just enough to, like I said, that photo of the Liepard. Like I said, when I was going through, my selection, I was like, if I had one that was just a little too high and a little too low, because I like,
yeah.
So it was like kind of cool being able to go in and just adjust it to what I would have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough to be satisfying and to like fix those little mistakes that I see as a photographer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a little underwhelming. Like,
yeah,
when you brighten it, it like does weird things to the color, and it like grays it out. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Again, yeah, we're photographers, so like we know like what we would want to do. So maybe to the normal player, it's like, oh, this is great, this is perfect. But it's like, yeah, it's very underwhelming.
It's funny because like most photo modes in video games are like they're either like really, really good or. Well, actually, they're really good, except like there's a few things that really hinder it. Cyberpunk 2077 was really promising, and it has a lot of features that you can mess around with. But the thing that really hinders that is not the ability to like not be able to just go in free cam mode and like go around and like zoom out as far, or like not even zoom out, but literally like go as far back as possible and then zoom in, because that changes the depth of field and also what is like basically in frame. And it's so limiting. So this almost does a good job.
This game would benefit from a free range, which is what you'd mentioned.
Yes,
you mentioned as well.
But then that would like literally break the game.
No. I think if you beat the game, that would be cool to like have it be an unlockable feature.
Oh, you mean like well we mentioned where it was like a
you're going
zone without like being on rails, or you can
or you're in the rail, but but you can literally pause the game. Like a mode where like you're on the rail, you can pause the game and then you can move around a little more freely. Yeah, in the level to like free range it and to get different angles and stuff.
Yeah,
different spots. Like I think I think this would have benefited from that. And like I said, I don't think early on it would be good because it would kind of break the game and it would kind of like ruin the fun and excitement. But like once you beat the game or you hit like a certain like level, like a certain part of like the level, I think it'd be cool if you could basically like let the game run and then pause it where you want, and then you can take that time to like get that shot. I think something like it would have benefited from something like that.
Professor Mirror is your professor this time around instead of Professor Oak like it was in the original, right?
Well, yeah, Professor Oak's probably dead.
Well,
it's been years.
It has been years, but
even though some of these people don't age.
Yeah.
Todd.
Spoilers. Professor Mirror is your professor, and his grading system. What do you think of the grading system as opposed to Professor Oak's? Because Professor Oak's grading system was like super notorious for like just being the most like nitpicky mother effer, basically.
I think this is equally as picky, to be honest.
Wow, really?
I mean, they definitely have like the categories give you a little more range and freedom.
Yeah, and a little more info too. Right?
And more info, and there's more things to them, but it feels pretty similar. Especially again, as like a photographer, it's like where I'm like, I know I don't want that Pokemon to have to be directly in the middle of the frame looking right at me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, it's kind of, and that's where a free range mode again would be great, because it's like, I know what he wants. Although this is very realistic to having photography clients.
That's right.
They have things that they want, and you need to get what they want regardless of what you think. Like, yeah, you can take your photo that you think's good, but you got to make sure you get that wedding portrait of them looking at the camera, and then you do the things they want, and then you can try, and then if you have the time, you get to do your creative shit. Like, that's literally actually how like a professional photography is. But it's just like I feel like the grading system makes things a little limiting, but then at the same time I understand, because there's got to be an algorithm, because it's a literal computer grading things. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a struggle, because it's like they want that placement directly in the middle, and they want it looking right at the camera, and it's like, but you, like I said, yeah, you can take this photo that like a little off, and there's like a little bit of like foliage in the front, and you're like, this is actually a really amazing photo. But I can't pick it. He's not
stars.
Yeah, he's not gonna like it because my Pokemon is not in the middle. But no, I think it's definitely an upgrade, but it feels very similar.
Yeah. Speaking of the star ratings, it was a little confusing at first, because there's 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, but those don't really necessarily mean that like 1 star is a bad shot and 4 star is the best. They're more like situations that are happening. Like 1 star is like, oh, it's just a normal thing that the Pokemon does, but then a 3 or a 4 star is like, holy crap, that's something that it normally doesn't do, but it did because of your actions. And I guess that's what happened. That's what these secrets are, right?
I like the system.
Yeah,
I love it, actually.
Yeah, and after you kind of get that, like you wrap your head around it, and it's not necessarily like, oh well, this is
a crappy photo.
This is a crappy. And it's like, no, like keep that 1 star photo, because then it goes from bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. So though, like, I again, once you figure it out, it's really rewarding, and it makes a lot of sense. But that was something that we were really confused about at the beginning.
Well, yeah, because at first we were like, oh, like these are bad. Like, yeah. I don't think it's bad. And then you get like a high score. You get like 3,000. You're like, that's a high score if it goes out of 5. Like, what do you mean this is a 1 star? But yeah, once you realize that, I really like the system. Yeah. Because the original Pokemon too, the Pokemon Snap, you had 1 photo for that Pokemon. That was it. So like every time you did the course, even if you really liked that photo, you'd have to like, that was it, you know? So it was like, you would have to, and it was again about chasing that particular moment and perfecting that moment that the game wanted you to get. So you'd be like, I love this photo, but this is what he wants, and this score is like 1,000 more. So you just have to replace it. You didn't have the option to save photos. You didn't have, and like I said, the game kept that 1 single photo of that 1 single Pokemon. That was it.
Well, that's the benefit of new technology, because now you have an actual photo album. Yeah,
memory.
You have a photo album that you can carry. You can also upload them to your system. You can upload them also to the in-game like our gallery for other people to see online. They have like little, like, besides doing the resnap feature, you also can add like little stickers or like these other things and stuff like that to edit the photos, which I think is pretty cool.
No, and that's and that's exactly it. It's like they have this great system, and on top of that, you have your own personal album. So that's really cool, because you're not sacrificing that thing that you love. Because even like the Lumina thing, there was all the photos I liked didn't count towards the mission.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, but so it was cool being able to like save those. And like I said, yeah, because it's like it was so limiting on this little cartridge, and the game was so limiting. So I think that their system too of having a 1 to 4 star in your album for that Pokemon is really cool, because that gives you 4 opportunities to take a plain photo where it's just doing its own thing, and then it has its star system, that bronze to diamond, where you're aiming for that better photo. Yeah. But then you're also aiming to do these other things. Like, I think it gives you just that little bit more freedom and flexibility in it. And it also gives you more goals. It's not just about that one moment. It's about that collection of moments. So I think, I think the system's great. And 2, because you'll take like a photo, it may be like a 2-star, but you're like, oh, it was a great one. And it'll be like a silver. And you're like, oh, I can do better. Yeah. So like, I don't know. I think it gives it, it gives you, it's more challenging, and it gives you more goals and more opportunity. I don't know. I really, once it wasn't confusing anymore, yeah. I was very surprised by the system, and I like it. I like the goals it gives you and the amount of things that you're actually going for. It's not that one photo anymore. It's this entire set of diamond photos.
For sure. I think what this game also really benefits a lot of is the amount of Pokemon too. There's so many different generations that are in this Pokemon, but also Pokemon that like don't really get like the limelight. We like chasing around a Bidoof, or chasing around like a Wurmple. Like I never thought like a Wurmple would look so cute, and just like, and the Bouffalant too. Like just a bunch of Pokemon that like aren't really like super popular, but they're doing cool things, and they're doing like natural things that I think it's
well, yeah, because actually, right, I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon. I looked at our stats. I think we've already seen like 50 something Pokemon. Dang. And just in like those 3 stages. We've only done the daytime, nighttime, Luminama, blah blah. The jungle. And then we did the jungle one run through. Yeah. And I'm just like, so we're already like in these 50s on Pokemon. Like, it seems like a lot, but you don't even realize how many you're actually seeing. Like, I was really surprised. I was like, we're already in the 50s and we're only this far in. And then, yeah, like piggybacking off what you said, like it's a bunch of Pokemon that you don't really think about because they're not good in game. They're not good in the battle system, or they're very common. So you just kind of like are like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm so used to this. Like, yeah, like that little Bidoof photo with the little Bidoof butt. Yeah. So cute. Yeah, and it is. It's just these Pokemon that you don't really pay attention to because they're not really, like, not to be a jerk, worth much in the game. Yeah. It does. It gives them a whole other like value in this, and attention, and some much needed like love for how, like, no, look, these guys are actually really cute, or this Pokemon's actually really cool. You just,
yeah. I mean, we haven't even played like the new Pokemon like Sword and Shield, but like Grookey and Scorbunny, they're so adorable in this. And like specifically like Scorbunny, he's just like,
Scorbunny's cute, and I didn't think they were that cute, to be honest, to begin with.
See, seeing them like just sleeping on a big Torterra, like just like straight chilling. Like, by the way, I mean, the fact that this game has Torterra, my favorite Pokemon, and Lapras, which we haven't even
seen Lappy yet. Like, but Lappy was in the original.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the original, in the very first stage, there was Lappies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have some of our favorite Pokemon too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said too, it's Pokemon that like you're like, oh yeah, didn't really think much about. Like now, like Scorbunny, I'm like, I love him. I didn't give a shit about him before this, but all I could think of was just looking around that one little photo where he's just looking around around his butt. He's like, hi. Yeah, no, it is. It's kind of weird how like you start to be like, Pokemon I didn't care about at all. Like Lightbird should be a Pokemon that I would really be into. Most people would probably just assume. Yeah. Never really gave it time of day. That last level I just played, I was like, oh my god, it's beautiful, it's majestic, it's a queen, like slay.
Took 24 photos.
Yeah, I took so many, but it was like, wow, I love this Pokemon now. Yeah. It's weird how like it can like kind of, again, in a different setting and a different environment and you get a different appreciation for these Pokemon that maybe you just never really thought about before.
Yeah. I am excited to keep playing this. I'm excited to keep being giddy about all these Pokemon and stuff. I'm also glad that this game didn't come out last year, because although Animal Crossing was amazing for that time, we got burnt out so fast. on that. And I feel like this game would be even more burnt out because
I would do the same thing.
We would just play that. We would just play nonstop on that.
Especially in pandemic where it was like, I have nothing to do. That is a thing. Like, and that's why we don't really have a lot to say about this, is because we are going into this with a completely different attitude of, and especially knowing it's not as long as Animal Crossing even is, like, I'm going into this with the attitude of really enjoying it and taking it maybe stage by stage. Mm-hmm. I'm going into it without having that, like, but not bust through mentality, but that play. Yeah. Like, we could have easily played for like 3 or 4 hours last night and really had a lot more to say, which might have been a little more interesting for the podcast. But yeah, I think this is just one of those, and especially, like I said, I waited so long. It was 22 years. That's your sister's entire life. Yeah.
Crazy.
So I'm really just trying to take it, like, I only want to play like an hour a day, take it in, enjoy it, and then revisit it instead of just busting through. Yeah.
Any last minute things you want to say?
No, I've probably talked more than you expected to about this already, especially only being like an hour in, but I'm just so excited. Like, I waited so long. And all I will say is, so far, not disappointed. I'm very pleased. But I can also agree with people's criticism of it. But also, like, I feel like those people would have been happy no matter what. Like, I feel like it's just like I said, a
very niche game.
It's a very niche game audience. For a very niche audience.
For Ally's.
Yeah, and like, I'm not surprised by some of the criticism from actual players. I actually expected it, so I'm not shocked. But as someone who's been really excited about this, I'm very, very pleased so far.
Yes. I would agree with the same sentiments that you have. Let me know what you guys think about new Pokemon Snap. Have you played it? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below. Halo Infinite, Inside Infinite, for April 2021. If you guys don't know what Inside Infinite is, it is a monthly Halo update from the team at 343, where they've gone over arts, graphics, and live. They've also gone over the sandbox, the campaign, and then in March they did audio, which is a really interesting video that they did. They're just smashing a piano.
Oh, how do I get that job?
I don't know. And this month, all they talked about for Inside Infinite was everything you could want to know about the PC port of Halo Infinite, as well as some details on how the game will run on PC, what kind of settings they have, some advanced settings, some things specifically to PC, but then also how crossplay is going to be integrated. A lot of things were said in this. I highly recommend for anybody who's really into the PC heavy stuff or is interested in how Halo is going to work on PC. Definitely give this a read. I highly recommend it. Jeff Guy and Mike Romero were both interviewed in this, and they both talk about their experiences with making games for PC, where they started as far as like, PC gaming, and then what their goals and ambitions were for this project, from literally building Halo Infinite.
Oh, yeah. What have I started? What did I do? Halo Reach.
Halo Infinite for PC from the ground up, and in combination with console. So let's get right into basically what everyone's here for, which is Halo Infinite will be cross-play, cross-progression across Xbox One, which I'm still very surprised about, the fact that they're still supporting Xbox One.
After my experience with some next-gen games, yeah. I am too, and I love what they're trying to do with that, but I also just effing chat.
I am very curious to see how that'll run on that Xbox. I'm assuming Xbox One S and Xbox One X will hold obviously a lot better, but I'm really curious. That this is so old. I'm like thinking. Anyways, um,
I'll upgrade one day.
yeah, I want you to upgrade so bad. It's actually hurting me whenever we play. Like we're playing like Second Extinction and seeing like 10 frames a second. I'm just
It
like,
was literally like 5 frames a second during
oh my
extraction.
gosh,
Like it was bad.
it was bad.
It was making me nauseous.
Outriders was also really bad. But anyway, so surprisingly, Xbox One Series X and S, PC through Game Pass or Steam. Aly, what are your initial thoughts on crossplay and cross progression?
I'm not a huge fan of crossplay for shooters between PC and console. When I think of crossplay, like I want it, of course, for like PlayStation and Xbox. Like I just feel like for specific games like shooters, they play so differently on console and PC, and like you just have advantages if you're good on PC because you just have aim advantages, and like I just feel like I that makes me really nervous. So I don't know. I'm always back and forth on the idea of crossplay. I like the idea of it implemented for certain genres and certain games, but shooters make me a little.
Yeah, I would agree, but after my experiences with Warzone, um, there are benefits surprisingly for console players because of aim assist and just how snappy you can get to like a enemy, and how you can it basically almost tracks for you, as opposed to like in C and mouse and keyboard, you have to do all the tracking yourself. So there are a few benefits and downsides, but I 100% agree. If you're going up against somebody who's a god on PC, you're just gonna get wrecked. Now
Well, and I already suck at shooters, so like I don't need any. I like things being on a level playing field for me because I'm bad. I enjoy them, but I'm not good.
Now they did say that ranked will be the only way that they will lock your inputs basically. So if you're playing any casual like modes, just TDM, Slayer, it's like, just, what are they called? Like social multiplayer games on multiplayer matches. Anything that's not ranked, it'll just be free reign and stuff like that. If you are playing ranked though, it'll be locked by your input. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you're on Series X, you're just going to be on Series X with versus other Series X. It depends on what you're playing on the Series X with. If you're playing mouse and keyboard on the Series X, you're going to be locked in with anybody else who's playing mouse and keyboard, regardless of the console, whether PC or Xbox. Vice versa. That. But yeah, vice versa on PC. If you plug in a controller, you're going to get put with people who are playing with controls. I think it's great, but I think we've also talked about that, like, they should still enable a feature where that's
opt in, opt out.
Opt in, opt out for even like the social and like unranked games. Because like you can do it on Warzone, but it only works on PlayStation. You can only do PlayStation opt out of crossplay and only play with PlayStation players. But on Xbox, that option doesn't even exist.
Doesn't Fortnite have that option as well?
Fortnite also does have that option, yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, like the fact that other games have it as an option means it's doable. And I think there will be enough players on Halo that it shouldn't be an issue, especially since the multiplayer is going to be free to play. Yes. The only thing I could see is maybe having it be an opt-in, opt-out unless lobbies aren't big enough. Yeah. Like have it be like kind of a flexible feature like where it's priority. Yeah. Or like have a priority queue where I would rather play with this, but if I want faster games, you can put me in with either. I think I personally think it's just better to have the options versus like, although, I mean, maybe when the game comes out, it won't be that noticeable. Like I said, I haven't really played any cross-platform games, so I don't know, but I know I have. PC mustard race are gonna hate me, but I've plugged in a controller for Overwatch on PC before. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I didn't like. I held myself better than I expected to. So maybe I'm making a bigger deal out of it than it actually is. But I think though, with other games having it as a feature and having the opt-in, opt-out, I think it'd be good to have that on all the modes here. And then, like I said, maybe if queues are low for some reason, come up with a thing that says, hey, queues are low, your wait time's going to be long. Do you want to opt into these lobbies? I think the options would be better. I do like that they are keeping ranked separate though, and ranked as even and fair as they can.
Yeah, I agree. I will make an argument that I think the biggest reason why the skill gap is also really big, and this was prior to these new generation of consoles, specifically the Series X and the PlayStation 5, is actually frames per second. The lower the frames per, especially with this one, this can max out maybe at 30 frames per second.
Let's go.
But the fact that the Series X can do 60 and even up to 120 on certain games, Destiny has a 120 in Crucible, Titanfall, a bunch of EA games this week also got a FPS boost to 120. That makes such a huge difference. And
you think it'll even out that playing field then?
Yes, because the biggest reason why PC is also, better besides the aim is the additional frames per second.
Oh, I never even thought about that. I only think about aim.
You're getting way more information as opposed to just like snippets of it, right? Where like you get way more of it in a faster set as opposed to just like parts of it.
Yeah,
it's hard to explain, but like if
no, that makes sense.
But yeah, I feel like when you finally experience that like 120 hertz.
You mean when I get rid of this brick?
Honestly, yeah. Like, I'm actually afraid for you to play like anything on this console.
I'm not. There's a reason I'm not.
Yeah, because then you're just gonna be like, I need to.
Although I don't know, I'm at least able to stay in my games.
Okay. But I think that is also one of the biggest benefits that this game will have, and shorten the skill gap between them, because
for sure
it is aiming, and it is like aiming on PC is better, but like it really, if you have two people that are playing 120 hertz at the same time, regardless of the input, they're gonna have like a fair advantage basically, or one won't have an advantage over the other.
Not as much as it would be.
Yes,
from here
you could take the same two people that are competitively really good on each console, and because of the frames per second, they'll match up pretty much. So
well, and that's what I'm saying too. Like my opinion comes from not experiencing it, and it just comes from just how gaming has kind of been, and just knowing shooters.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, my opinion's still flexible. I don't really have like a set opinion on if this is a good or a bad thing. I still believe that the options are better. But like I said, I may be making a bigger deal out of it than it is. So it's interesting though. Like I said, and I'm open-minded, But I can tell you on my Xbox One, I wouldn't want to play against PC players.
No, I would not.
Like, it's things like that, though. Like, what about all of us who haven't upgraded? Like, if you guys are supporting that, I would like that option to be console only. Like, maybe on your, like, the newest console, yeah, it makes sense. But, like, yeah, like, I feel like I'm just set up for a complete failure. By the time Halo comes out, I'm sure I'll be upgraded. But not everyone has the money. Not everyone can be, has access. I mean, I don't even know if consoles are still hard to find right now.
They're
getting better.
Yeah, they're getting better. Yeah, they're getting better.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? So I think that's where it kind of sucks, is it's like they want so bad to support the old consoles. Like it's such a double-edged sword with this, with their whole ideology with it. Yeah. I think it's amazing. I think it's great that they're still wanting to support that. And I know before consoles were out, we're like, oh my God, yeah, that's great. But the reality of this is not, like, being the Xbox One player, I've been having fun with our games, but it's been bad. It's been really bad. So I just, like I said, so knowing like, oh yeah, so if I'm on this and I'm against someone with a nice ass PC and like perfect frames, and it's like I might as well not play the game. So I think while you're supporting older generations, I guess that's more my reasoning behind the opt-in, is I think it's important to give those people kind of their own flexibility and their own chance. And like,
yeah,
if it was just coming out on this one console, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever, no problem. That does make me a little nervous. So, like, I don't think I would want to play Halo on this.
Yeah, and it's specifically if we look at like I have we have like some screenshots that they had in the actual what's it called? But we should go over this one here. Now, these two are just standard, TVs and stuff. They're also introducing ultra wide, which is great for PCs. This is not something you can do on console, by the way.
Yeah.
Ultra wide and then super ultra wide specifically. What they wanted we'll talk about the FOV in just a bit, but what they wanted to make sure that they hit really well, and you can see specifically on that one too, is that they wanted to extend the horizontally as opposed to like crop off vertically.
Yeah.
So that way you can see more if you have ultra wide, but
Also makes me nervous.
again, it goes back into what you're saying as well. And then the biggest thing is
more information. So you as a PC player have more information. If this is all I can see, I have no idea that you're standing right here, but you know I'm standing right. Like, I don't know. Like, I like the sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
But I like the flexibility of it, but it goes just again into that. There goes that PC advantage.
Yeah.
And these are the reasons I think there should be opt-in systems. It may seem little, but it's enough to make it a really frustrating experience.
It does, especially with these Xboxes where you don't even have this option to do FOV.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that like you're just gonna be sitting at this, and then somebody with a super wide, ultra wide is gonna have 120 FOV and see.
I'm hiding behind this thing when if I were in his position, I wouldn't even know that there's a place to hide there.
Yeah,
that does make it a little like nerve-wracking. Like, because you can literally see here if someone's hiding behind that column, I wouldn't see them. They'd be able to see me a mile away. I'd be dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I guess now the more we're talking about it, the more I'm like,
there has to be because that's
yeah. Because what? So then I'm supposed to just always play ranked, and then and then it goes into even being on ranked doesn't save me from this problem.
Yeah, because you're still going to be going up.
Yeah, if someone plugs in a controller on their PC, they still have way more information. So yeah, so now the more I talk about it, the more concerned I am. Not necessarily because of the new Xbox, but because it's those older generations.
Because I don't even think Xbox One X has the ability to do FOV. I'm not sure about Halo. I'm pretty sure that most other games don't have that option. It's only for series consoles. But yeah, I mean that
the option came up on the Extinction game, but I don't. Yeah.
Oh.
It came up, but I don't know if it actually did anything because I didn't mess with it.
Oh, we should look.
So I don't. Yeah, so I don't know if it's just there because it's a game option, but it doesn't actually do anything on my console, or if it actually does. So we'll have to mess with that and actually see.
If they allow that on there, even for this Halo as well, I think that would be really good. But that's a lot. That's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Even if you look at like
your console would struggle.
The default one in here, you're probably going to be losing a ton of frames.
Yeah. Like there's going to be a struggle.
Yeah. Either way, I think these screenshots are gorgeous. By the way, the Chloe Briley, the guy who leaked a bunch of stuff, and he's on Twitter a lot and everything. He actually did a side-by-side comparison that I should be putting up on screen right now as well, of what the game looked like last July when they did, or June when they did the showcase, and then what like screenshots are. And granted, this is inside, and the other one was outside, but even looking at that one, like I feel like that. They've gotten a lot better with the graphics and stuff, and they've really.
I see they're building the next generation of PlayStation in here. PlayStation 6.
Yeah. I think definitely more time has gotten obviously well spent. But something that you and I actually talked about was how was this game going to launch? How if this game would have launched last November? How different is that version of the game versus the one that we're getting this fall? Because even these changes here seem pretty different, and the fact that we're getting updates on PC specs and PC stuff about here, like, what is happening? We knew like prior to even like their showcase, some media people were able to see, go see the game and talk to devs and stuff, and they said things like ray tracing weren't even going to be at launch. So, do you think that like How do you think of the game would have been in November, and do you think it's benefited them now that they've obviously
I think that delaying it was the best thing they could have done, because I think here's the issue is 343 does not have a great track record with Halo right now. Halo fans have had a lot of complaints about things, and if it launched anything like the Master Chief Collection in that state, or even if it didn't launch broken, but it launched lacking features and content and just feeling empty, like what have we talked about recently that like launched empty? Like,
Well, I mean, besides Cyberpunk, but
well, yeah, well, like, you know, like, but like games that like launch empty. There's something recently that I wanted to compare it to, but I can't. I'm spacing it. But either way, like, that wouldn't be good because you're not. It's hard to get people to jump back on. It really is. It's a very, very rare thing for people to be like, oh, okay, that was fun. There might be stuff in a year, but and then not wanting to come back, you know?
Yeah.
So I think even if it didn't launch broken, but it lacked substance, they basically need to come out of the gate with this one with it feeling good, looking good, playing good, and having all the right things. I know it'll be a work in progress. That's their whole plan. Is it's like like a 10-year plan or something, but it needs to still come out of the gate like really good because they have a lot of people that they have to what is the word, like
almost win over or
win
like,
over again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, I didn't hate the last 2 games, but I don't play them. I played a little bit of 4, like me and you played. That's kind of, we bonded over that a little bit. But 5 came out and we played it a little bit, not really much. And then the Siege came out not too long, like a month after, and we were like, cool. And we were on Siege until Overwatch came out. Yeah. And I mean, like, we never looked back at 5, like, which sucks because it's like one of my favorite franchises, and I was really into Halo 3 to 4. I started to drop off, but so it's just like, even if people didn't hate it, it wasn't as gripping, and like I would try to go back and play it. So it's just, there's a lot of people that they have to really win over with this, and I just think like every time, like when I'm seeing new things, that I'm just like, I'm glad they've just delayed it. I'm glad they weren't so set in stone that it has to be the launch title. I'm sure that was hard and heartbreaking to not be the launch title for the new console. But I guess just like being like trying not to be long. I've already been long-winded. But I think that the more they waited, the better it's going to be. And hopefully they're putting in all of these things that weren't going to be in there that are going to make the game that much better and really kind of bring. I want to see Halo have a comeback. Yeah. I want to see it have a comeback, and I want to be excited about it again.
Yeah, me too. I felt guilty dropping Halo 5 as quickly as we did. Mm-hmm. And it sucks because like you said, I wanted to like the game, but it didn't really grip me. And I think that this game has a lot to live up to as far as what the fans want and winning back the fans as well. It's such a beloved franchise that the more time is spent on it, and I'm glad that it got delayed, the better the outcome will be.
I feel like this game is a make or break for the Halo franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, I agree, because it's not a numbered. This is infinite. It's gonna be supported for 10 years, and it might. I don't know what their plans are really, because it seems, if that sounds like game of service ish, right? Where they're just gonna keep adding content and everything. Whether that content's gonna be free or they're gonna do the Destiny route where it's like, $20 or $30 for like expansions or something. But I'm sure that multiplayer being free, that's also introducing a lot of microtransactions and loot boxes, not loot boxes, but just like battle passes.
Something.
I mean, they already have that kind of in Halo Master Chief Collection anyways. They have new seasons that come out, and in that battle pass they have, like a bunch of armor that you can get. So I'm sure they'll do something similar to that, and heavy emphasis on customization. But yeah, I'm just a long-winded thing.
We're a lot more long-winded this episode than we thought we'd be.
Yeah. I am glad that it was delayed, and I'm glad to see these updates as well, because it also keeps, these updates are very much like focused on like the hardcore fans, the fans that are really trying to, they're trying to win over, and like that are following really closely. So
reintroduced.
Yes. So I'm glad that they're doing these updates. It does make me worried though, because like what if that game would have released? Like, holy, oh my gosh. But again, it just goes back into it's better they delayed it. But that's it for this topic here for Inside Infinite. I'm curious to see what they talk about next month for May, and what more information we get. And then oh my gosh, E3 is just around the corner, technically a month away, so we should get some sort of information there. Maybe a beta during that time, like multiplayer beta.
Maybe.
That would be super cool. Yeah. That's all the time we have for this week's episode, everybody. I want to thank you guys all for joining us. What did you guys think about Halo Infinite? If you guys read that information or the things that we talked about, are you excited for Halo? Let me know in the comments below, and we will see you guys next week. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
As long as life doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, the pregnancy's been making me not feel great, so
Yeah.
I haven't wanted to record as much. It's me. You guys can just blame me.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to find a temporary host
At some point here, yeah.
But thanks again for joining us, everybody. Hope you guys have a good week. Stay safe, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.